We're reaching the end, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know the timing between videos can be frustrating, and I can only hope the story makes it worth it. I won't be commenting that much in this video because I mainly want to save my thoughts for the last video, so there won't be any intermissions. With that said, please enjoy. Velma sits quietly contemplating. With no more safe leads to take, it makes sense to take the least hostile one. Velma pulls out the business card and nervously dials a number, but she's hesitant to make the call. She doesn't know if the number is still in service or if Edna Perdue is even the proprietor of the number anymore. With a deep breath, Velma puts her thumb down.
Hello?
Hi, yes, is this Professor, Dr. Edna Perdue?
It is. May I ask who's calling?
Do you know a woman by the name Nora Dinkley? Hello?
Is this Velma?
How did you
find this number?
I found it with some of my mom's old things.
Did you find the test results?
That's why I'm calling.
Come to the lab. We'll talk there.
It'll be closed by the time I get there, if I choose to go.
I'll leave the back door unlocked. I'll be waiting.
The call abruptly ends, leaving Velma stunned as she processes the conversation. She's unsure what the right choice is anymore. She promised her father she'd keep him in the loop, but after what happened to Sam, how can that be an option? She's done enough of these meetups with the Mystery Inc. gang to know it's almost always a trap. After some deliberating, she's made her choice. She sends her father a heartfelt text telling him how much she loves him and apologizes for going back on her word. But she has to be the one to see this through. After several hours of driving, which Velma isn't used to, she finally arrives at the lab. Sure enough, it was closed, but Velma sees an outside light where the back door is, but there's a fence. However, when she reaches the gate, it's unlocked. There's no turning back now as Velma takes a breath and opens the door. There's no one to greet her, but she does see a door open at the end of the hallway. It always has to be a hallway. When Velma reaches the doorway, Edna welcomes her. Gosh, you have grown. How do you know me? Oh, your mom. She would occasionally visit me and all she would do is talk about you. My mom? Why? She got you fired. So you heard about that. It is true, but not the way you think. Edna explains to Velma her relationship with her mother. When Nora started taking her class, Edna immediately felt a kinship with her as Nora would be enthusiastic about the subjects and the lectures. She'd even stay after class to speak in depth about the subject. Edna grew fond of Nora as a friendship blossomed between the two. This resulted in Edna giving Nora access to the lab without supervision. Edna didn't think this was a problem as Nora wouldn't take any liberties without Edna's presence since Nora was still a first year. However, nearing the first half of the year, Nora became more confident as she was ahead of her classmates due to all the time she spent with Edna. Due to this, Nora became more confident and wanted to work on more advanced materials, but due to her lack of experience, she mixed the wrong chemicals, causing a flash explosion. This caused her to go temporarily blind, causing her to drop the vials, which started the fire. Edna was coming back from running an errand when this happened. She immediately got Nora out of the room and tried to put the flames out, but couldn't since she didn't know what materials Nora used. The fire spread, but once Edna got the information from Nora, she managed to put it out, but not before damage was done. Per protocol, the school was evacuated and the fire department had to inspect the damage to confirm the fire was completely extinguished and assess if any damage was done to the structural integrity of the building. While this was going on, Nora was being treated for her eyes and Edna was questioned by the police, the fire department, and the school board. Everything happened so fast that a lot of it's still a blur even to this day. However, one thing that's forever been ingrained in her memory was the moment she chose to take the blame. She knew she would get in trouble for her negligence with Nora, but Nora would get the brunt of it. The school would obviously expel her. As for the police, since they were filing a report, they'd have no choice but to charge Nora with arson. This would obviously set Nora's career back, if she could even continue her education. The more prestigious schools might not accept her application due to the charges. Realizing this and knowing it was partially her fault, Edna takes full responsibility for the fire. When Nora hears about this, she tries to set the record straight, but Edna won't allow it. Edna's career is already over, regardless of the truth. She tells Nora if she wants to make it up to her, then she should strive to have a fulfilling career. Only then will it make up for this. After that, the two fell out of touch as Nora dove into her studies and Edna struggled to find work. No prominent facilities would take her, so she started applying for less reputable labs and found this backwater lab. After a year working here, she found that she liked the remoteness and the sluggish pace of the facility, so she decided to buy it from the previous owner with her savings. Several years passed, and to her surprise, Nora tracked her down. She came to apologize as she hadn't made a fruitful career and instead chose to become a professor like Edna while focusing on her family. Edna wasn't at all upset by the news, as she had clearly lived a fruitful life. The two rekindled their friendship as they caught up with each other. Nora had planned for Edna to meet her family, but before she could, an incident happened. Late one evening, Nora called Edna hysterical, wanting to talk. When she arrived at the lab, she insisted that Edna run tests on water samples that she had.
Nora, for God's sakes, calm down! How can I calm down when someone is poisoning my child? What are you talking about? What's wrong with Velma? She fell into a sinkhole, and not long after she lost her 20/20 vision. She has to wear heavily prescribed glasses just to see what's in front of her.
Edna runs a test, and sure enough, there are particles of pharmaceuticals that shouldn't be in there. Edna asks how long it's been since Velma fell in, as the same chemicals could still be in her bloodstream. They drive back to Nora's home, where it's still early in the morning. Dell's dead asleep, since he's working on a big lawsuit case against one of the Cogburns, but it's not going well. Nora gently wakes Velma up as Edna prepares to take the blood. She takes 2 vials as Nora puts Velma back to bed. Edna tells her that she'll send her the test results and she can decide what to do after that. When Edna left, she got to work running the blood test, and sure enough, the same chemicals was in Velma's blood. Edna sent the results as promised and patiently waited for a response from Nora. After some time, she finally got a call. Nora, what's going on?
I'm going to get the evidence and come straight to your lab. Once we run the tests and confirm it's the same damn chemicals, I'm going to tell Dell and take it to the police.
Evidence? What the hell is going on?
No more negligence, Edna. No good comes from it. Just wait for me.
Edna waited for Nora, but she never came. She didn't know what to do and made the choice to give Nora 1 day to contact her. If she didn't, she'd go to her husband. However, it only took half the day for her to find out that Nora had been declared missing. Edna was old-fashioned and didn't show too much emotion, but hearing the report, she wept like a baby. She knew she had to go to the police, but when she got to her car, she found an envelope. Inside was a photo. There was no note, but it wasn't necessary. That photo was all I needed. What the hell are you talking about? That does not explain why you didn't go to the police. Velma, you and Dale was Nora's entire world. Whatever Nora's fate may have been, I could not allow the same to fall onto you and Dale, so I stayed silent. So that's it. That's where the trail ends, with you. I'm sorry, Velma. I wish I had an answer, because I want one too. Edna hands Velma the photo and tells her she dusted for prints but couldn't find any as she goes to fetch something. Velma stares hypnotically at the photo, trying to find a clue. Edna comes back with a file and Velma is speechless. Edna explains that when she heard someone was requesting the file, she had a receptionist give Sam a copy of it with redactions when Velma didn't show up for the pickup. When Edna handed Velma the file, she didn't realize how much it would affect her, as it looked like she was on the brink of tears. Edna tells Velma since it's so late she can stay the night. Emotionally burnt out, Velma takes Edna on her offer. The next morning, Edna wakes but finds Velma already gone. However, there was a note. That is the end of episode 6, and I think this is my favorite video so far. I just absolutely loved editing this video. Oddly enough, I think editing has been my favorite part of this series, but I don't want to say too much because I want to save a lot of my thoughts for the final video. However, there are things that I want to mention from this video. I know I'm not doing a good job answering some of the questions that I've sprinkled throughout this series, so let me address some of that now. The reason Nora doesn't tell Dale about the blood test was because he was overwhelmed with work with a lawsuit, and she didn't want to distract him until she knew she had tangible evidence. The lawsuit itself doesn't have anything to do with Velma, it's just something that I dropped in there, and I hate that I did, but it is what it is, and I'll explain more in the final video. As for Velma snapping at Edna, you may think that's out of character, but Velma does occasionally snap at characters that she's suspicious of, which I'd never noticed until now. But the reason for it here is because she's reaching the end of her rope as she's burned through every lead that she's come across. Not to mention, Edna, being the intelligent woman that she is, can see that Velma is burnt out. Especially when you recognize that her actions at the beginning of the video is her betting everything on Edna being the final clue to solve this very personal mystery. That will do it for me this video. I hope you've enjoyed this series and the videos as a whole, and don't be shy to let me know what you think about the series so far. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe!